So great. So today we'll discuss this spine bone setup. We have a spine bone, and obviously for spine bone we have a 6 joint. Is the spine 01, 02, 03, 04, 5, and the last one 6. But spine is a kind of thing. Okay, this spine always create the gesture of the body. So, and it's a very flexible things. So that means it always create some kind of follow through. So if you want to create the follow through in spine bone, then the spine bone required at least 3 controls. Then only you can create the follow through. If you create only 2 controls, lower portion and upper portion, then you can't create the follow through. So you have to create the follow through, because otherwise the arc of body, you can say gesture of the body, it will be very difficult to create. So we'll create the spline control and skeleton IK spline handle tool. Now I already discussed these things, exactly what is spline IK handle tool. Reset. So now if you are working with only 3 bones, 3 joint, then you have to create IK handle tool, and it should be RP solver. But if you are working with more than 3 joint, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then you have to use the spline IK handle tool, and open the spline IK handle tool. First, root on curve and auto parent curve, auto create curve, auto simplify curve. These settings, leave it as it is, it's a default settings. And come to the lower portion, number of spans. Now I think you already done some basic nerves modeling. You have a basic idea of nerves curve. Nerves curve smoothness is depend on the vertex, controlling point of the curve. If you put as much control vertex on the curve, then the curve will be more smooth. And this number of spans, actually this is the number of controlling point, control vertex on the curve. So obviously one thing is important, number of spans 1 means you have a 4 control vertex on the curve. Now one curve have to need to at least 2 control point. If you connect 2 points with each other, the in between line will be the curve. And for control vertex, the minimum number of spans will be 1, means 4 controlling point. Now for spine bone we have to use number of spans 2. But obviously if you are creating a snake, spine of a snake, then you have to select the higher number of spans, 3, 4, 5, 6. But for a human body, biped character, number of spans 2 is enough. Now sometimes you will face some problem like you are creating from here to here. Now we create this spline IK on a single try, but sometime you will face problem, because in this area we have 3 bones. One is root, other one is the spine first bone and the pelvic bone. So sometime you will get some problem. You want to select the spine 1 and it's selecting pelvic bones. So you will get some weird effect in Maya. So for that purpose, I'm showing one tricks. Tricks A, K. First, open the spine, all the spine bones. Tricks A, K. From spine 1, you can select from outliner. No need to select from viewport. Select from outliner, spine 1, and from spine last bone, select from viewport. This is the tricks. Now see the curve. We have a curve, and for spline IK handle you can't control from this IK handle, because for spline IK handle, this IK handle, you can't move the IK handle. You have to control this spline setup from this curve, and this curve come to the component mode. See this 1 2 3 4 5. We have a 5 controlling point, and from this controlling point open the geometry. You can control the setup, spline setup. Now one thing is very important, okay, if you control through this control vertex, it can work, but problem ke this control vertex does not have any kind of channel attributes, means translation, rotation, scale, visibility, because this is the component, so we can't translate, rotate this thing in. We can do it this, but the problem ke you can't key these things. This is the main problem. Then you have to use some kind of mediator, yeah, deformer. We'll use this situation cluster as a deformer, as a mediator, because at least we need some things, then we can key these things, because this is the control vertex, and in Maya you can't put any key on control vertex, yeah, any kind of vertex. You need a handler, you need a mediator. So that is the reason we will use create deformer cluster as a mediator. Now for this middle point, this vertex, create deformer cluster, edit, reset and relative, create. Now we have a handler, we have a controller, so cluster. Now this cluster has a channel attributes, translation, rotation, scale and visibility. Now you can easily key these things and you can do your animation. Now similar way, select the other. Now we have a 2 vertex in top side, so I will do one thing, together this 2 vertex I will put another one cluster, and in lower side 2 more vertex here, this one and this one, and together this 2 vertex I will create another one cluster. So we have a 3 cluster for 3 controls. Great. So now the second thing, so we completed the spline setup with the deformers. Now we required a control. Now in first class I already discussed that if you are creating controls, and that control should be with some proper color code and user friendly. Now if you are creating controls with clusters, so it's very difficult because it's just only single C kind of shape, and if you zoom out your character, it's recognized very difficult. And in fact both the 3 controls, it's inside of the geometry. So if you want to select this clusters, it's very difficult. Okay, you can't select easily. Look, I want to select and the bones is selecting, so it's very difficult. So we have to make some user friendly control. Now for the entire character, we already selected, we already decided, okay, we'll use nerves curve as a control, and we already created foot control through the nerves curve. So that is the reason we have to create 3 controls, 3 nerves control for 3 cluster. So let's create. So create nerves primitive. I am using circle, simple nerve circle for the controls. So let's snap the control over cluster, then scale down these things. Modify, freeze transform, edit, delete by type, history. Rename low underscore spine underscore control. Fine, and we'll change the color because it's in default color. Object display, drawing over it, enable over it, and we'll do in yellow color, fluorescent yellow kind of thing. Where is the yellow color? Yes. Cool. Now see these things. If you zoom out it's very clear that we have something on spine or lower west portion. Great. So now another one thing, important things. Okay, if you, for example, the back side of the body, now we have a much space rather than the back side. So if you put some equal distance front and back, then the pivot point will be displaced from centered area. The pivot point will be displaced centered area. Now I already told you कि if you want to modify the control curves, before displace the center pivot point, you can do this thing from component mode. Come to the component mode, then displace it. Now see this. See the channel box. It's same though. It's 0, neat and clean. So this is the tricks. If you want to displace your control, you can modify your control. You can do from component mode also. Not required to always just displace it, then again freeze transform. You can do these things. So now we created the lower controls. Then we'll do one thing. We'll duplicate from here. Control D. The one duplicate from the mid area and another duplicate control D from the top area. Then now scale it up and down as much as required. And the top portion, done. Now modify, freeze transform, rename the controls. Instead of low, I'll rename top spine control, and the portion modify, freeze transform. Instead of low, I'll put mid spine control. I have seen lot of people not required to always you have to follow this kind of exact naming, mid, low or top. You can do it. You can rename these things shoulder spine control. You can rename these things ab spine control, and you can rename this west spine control. A lot of people's done this kind of renaming. It's actually depend on your TD, what kind of naming should be. So great, we have 3 controls. Now we have to connect the 3 control with 3 cluster. So what will be the constants? Which constant you should do? Yes, Deepak.
Point.
Very good. Select the control, then shift select the cluster, constraint, point constant. Then the mid, select the control, shift select the cluster, constraint, point constant. The last one, select the control, then the cluster, constraint, point constant. So now we have 3 controls for 3 clusters. We can move this thing. Done. Now one thing very important, if you rotate this one, it does not have any rotations because it's a spine. IK, inverse kinematics. Inverse kinematics are only the translations. So that is the reason we done the point constant, but we require rotations. So we can create some kind of fake rotation attribute through the parenting with each other. So I'll do one thing, I will parent this control with the mid one P, then you can, if you rotate the mid one, the upper portion will be rotate, then select the mid one, it parent with the lower one P. Now you can rotate the lower portion, then the all the 3 will be rotate. Great. So now another one thing, important things. So all the 3 control does not require the scale and visibility channel attribute. So it's in Maya, if your channel controls all the channel attributes, does not require the connections, does not require the value, then you should do lock and hide unused channel attributes. So select, shift select now this time all the 3 controls. Yeah, I can do one thing, scale and visibility, lock and hide, selected. Cool. Great. So let me save the file. So now the spine control is almost done. We can create the follow through, we can achieve any gestures, any move. Now another one thing, if you are using deformers like clusters, any other deformers, the rules said you have to parent these clusters with the root bone always, not only for this biped character, for any character you should parent the deformers always root bone, otherwise it will not work properly.
I have a question.
Yes,
Sir, how to get back those random attributes if you want sometimes?
which one?
So scale and visibility.
Okay, suppose you want to back this visibility and scale attribute, you want to visible na. So select your desired controls. For example, you want to back this particular low spine control, scale and visibility. Select the controls and go to edit channel control, because the channel box, you have to edit this from channel control. Now see this in the mid segment, non-cable and hidden attribute, you will find your scale and press control, it's allow the multiple selections, visibility. Now move and close, So you will get your scale and visibility. Now select these 4 things, right click, unlock selected. Now it's written. Clear? So now our main topic, this clusters. Now we have to parent these clusters with root bone. So select all the 3 clusters and make a group, Control G, group, and select root bone, parent. Then the cluster will be parent with root bone. So now spine bone is done. Now we'll create the neck and head controls. It's very simple. Now if you check in our human body, suppose if you rotate your head, it's not the only head bones, its rotations it's acting. Suppose if you rotate your head left, right, front side, yeah, back side, always head and neck always work together. So in fact you can't rotate your head without neck, yeah, you can't rotate your neck without head. It's both the thing is connected. Now if you check on the spine bone, basically the neck and head is the extended part of spine bone. Let me open a photograph. Just a minute. I have something to show. See this. See the side gesture of skeleton. Now this is a starting point of spine bone. This is a coccyx bone. Here you can say it's a tailbone, and it start from here to this is the neck area. This portion is particular neck area, and this is the head area. Now this is the bone, is a solid bone, and this is the cranium. We call it's a cranium, and the lower jaw it's free, and upper jaw is fixed with the head bone. We can't move our upper jaw, we can only move the lower jaw. Now head bone, it's a solid, very big bone, and we can't say it's a single bone, because from human physiology, this cranium bone, we have at least 6 different portion, and it's jointly together, so it's look like a one single big bone. And this is the neck portion. Now if you check neck portion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bone is already here, and for head portion we have a 2, 3 more bones. So this portion is the last of spine bone. That means neck is also part of the spine setup, and it's look like a S, English letter X formation. So it's very flexible, and from here to up to head end almost, it's more than 32-34 bones is here. But in our rigging, we will not create 32-34 bones. We just only create 6 spine bone and 1 neck bone and 1 head bone. That means 6 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. We are completing this entire neck and spine setup with only 8 bone, because we have a skinning. We will paint this geometry through the paint wet skinning. So that is the reason, and we can define each and every portion for which bones does have how much influence on the exact which area. So that is the reason we will created only 8 bones for this entire setup. Now if you rotate your head, then the entire neck and head will be along with rotations. So that is the reason we have to create, again is a part of follow through. So that is the reason we have to create 1 neck control separately and 1 head control separately. So come to back to our file. Now if you check the bone structure, we have a 1 neck bone, and this is the head bone. So for neck bone, we will use IK handle tool. IK handle tool, and we'll use SC solver, because from here to here it's just only 2 joins, so does not require the RP solver. So from here to here I create the one IK handle. Now this IK handle required a controls, because we can't leave it this IK handle for animation. We require a control to animate this portion. Great. So I'll do one thing. I'll create a head control and create now primitive, now circle, select the circle and snap it exactly on IK handle. Now I'll change the shape and everything through component mode. Now see the difference. Now this time I'm deforming this circle through component mode. I am not. Now for example, select the controls, modify, freeze transform, edit, delete by type, history. Now if you scale it down through object mode, then some channel attributes will be changes, because you are scale up and down from here. Now same thing you can do from component mode. One second. From component mode you can scale it down and come to object mode. Look, nothing changed. This is the tricks of work with NURBS curve. So this time I'm scaling down and deforming these things through component mode. I put it on the top. Yeah, I know last time I'm already show you we'll use NURBS cube for head control, but this time I'm showing some different controls. It look like now angel. You can put it on bit upside, because I think this character has hair. Perfect. You can in fact put some rotations. Yeah, perfect. Great. So look at this. Now this channel attribute does not have any kind of, because this time I worked with component mode, and the pivot point, it's still now it's on exactly the same positions, the IK handle. Great. So rename these things, head underscore CTRL for control. Now we have to change the color. I'll follow same color code like spine bone. So select the control, object mode, our favorite yellow color. Great. So now we have to connect this with this IK handle. Obviously we have to use the point constant. Select the control, shift select the IK handle, constant, point constant. Great. So now if you translate this control, the head will be rotations. Now we made the neck control actually. Now the head bone, this is the head bone. We have to put orientation for head bone. So I'll not create another one control for the head bone. I can use this same control, shift nape control, for head also. So select the control and shift select the bone, this bone, not IK handle, constant, orient constant. So now we have both the option. you can translate here and you can rotate also. Clear? This is the neck and head control. So now if you rotate your lower spine control, it's not behaving properly because this controls is not parent with this one. So if you parent this, select the control, then shift select the parent control P. So now if you rotate, now it will work properly. Clear? क्या पीछे से? It's a paint weight problem. Great. So another one thing, this control does not require the scale and visibility. So select the scale and visibility, lock and hide, select it. Great. Control. Yes. Done. Now another one control. It's a new one. Till now I did not show this control. Now this portion is not the part of repeat class. So this control I am showing you fresh knowledge. So now if you translate this control, actually the upper body is not moving along with, because this control is controlling the top spine bone, not the root bone. Now we required a control on root bone, this bone. See this? That means you have to create another one control for root bone here. So now this is a fresh knowledge. So we have to create another one control over here. Create CB curve tool. I am not creating another one knob circle because people will be confused, because we have already one circle here. It's a lower spine control. So we have to create some kind of different shape. So CB curve tool, one linear curve. Now come to the top view. I'll do one thing. I'll use this grid snap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. Enter. Grid snap off. Now modify center pivot. Now select this control, snap exactly on root bone. Now scale it up. We require some scale it up. Perfect. We can exactly. Now modify, freeze transform, edit, delete by type, history. Root underscore CTRL, root control. Lot of people rename this control as a root control, या top upper body control, या master upper body control. So you can rename it according to your requirements. It's depend again on your production pipelines, your TD. So I'll rename these things as a root control. And obviously we have to put some separate color, not yellow color. Why I put this is a square shape, because we have already one circle here. So people, otherwise animator will be confused, get another one circle, so what is the exactly two. So that is the reason I put some different shape. So change the color, not yellow, except yellow. And we can put red and blue, because we are following left side control. All the left side control will be blue color and all the right side red color. We have to use some different color. Yeah, you can put it on sky blue. Yes, sky blue. Pink. You can't put pink color. Pink color. I can put pink color, but not purple. This one. Now, because in Maya, if you select any object, sometimes you will get another object. It's showing pink color because that object has a relation with your selected object. So that is the reason we can't put pink color, because otherwise again you will be confused. So when I will show your modeling, your rigging class, then this color code I'll tell you this color code. It has every color code has some meanings. Sky blue. So great. Now select the control. This is the root control, and select the root bone now. First parent object, then the child object, root bone. Constant we are using here parent constant because we require translation, rotation, both the things. Garima, I have a question for you. Now we have a controls for root. I can move the control, but it's not moving along with this portion. Why? Yes? Speak louder. It's a very simple question. Satvik. Huh? Deepak.
So because we haven't parent lower.
Exactly. Very good. So select the spine control and it should parent with the root control. P. Done. Clear? So again select the root control, scale visibility, lock and hide selected. Control S, save. So class is over.